All right, thank you so much for joining us today. In this video, we have 29 multiple choice questions that we are going to go through together to prepare us towards our final exams. So let's jump right in. So the first question is asking us to check if the equation that is joining point A, B is indeed this, given that this is the slope. So let's find out. So they've given us a point A, which is 2, 1, and point B, which is AB. So the first thing that we just need to do here is let's try and find out if the slope, which is the gradient, is true. So M is equal to change in Y minus change in Y over change in X. And here, looking at this, they use this one as X2, Y2. So I'm going to have B minus 2, B minus 1 divided by A minus 2. Yes, and this is true. So the slope is true. Now let's try and find out the equation, if the equation 2 is true. So we know that the equation of the line is y minus y1, which is equal to mx minus x1. So here we can pick, looking at the equation, they use this one for x1, y1. So we are picking this one as y1. We are picking this one as y1. We are picking this one as x1. So we are going to have y minus 1, which is equal to mx minus 2. So let's try and simplify. Y is equal to mx minus 2 plus 1. So let's try and compare this one to the results that they gave us up there, and let's see. So we have y is equal to mx minus 2 minus 1. This is plus 1. So we are going to choose false. Good. Now it's saying that from question 1, if A is 3 and B is 3, then the equation of the line is this. Okay, let's try and find out. So it means that here we need to find our slope. So we know A to be 3, B to be 3. So we are going to have 3 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 2, and this is going to give us 2 divided by 1, and this is going to give us 2. So now our slope is equal to 2. So from this, we are going to have y is equal to 2x minus 2 plus 1. So one thing that you need to notice from here is we are not going to use the equation here to solve. We need to use the correct equation, which is the one that we had, and making this one false. So we are using the original one. So when we simplify this, we are going to have y is equal to 2x minus 4 plus 1, and this is y is equal to 2x minus 3. So it's because theirs is minus. That's the reason why they are having minus 5 here, but this one is supposed to be positive, so we are going to have minus 3, and this is also going to be false. Right. So anytime you are dealing with objectives, sometimes you need to think of getting shortcuts to go through the questions very early. But some of the questions too, you need to solve them before you can just get them. So let's see question 3. X is intercept and y intercept of the equation are this respectively. So this means that the x intercept is this, and then the y intercept is also this. So I can write this one as s intercept. S intercept will be minus 1 and 0, and y intercept will be 0 and 2. So this is the intercept. So we want to check if indeed these are the intercept of this equation. So now let's try now find the intercept from this equation and see. So y minus 2x is equal to 0. When x is 0, y will be equal to, oh, this one's supposed to be 2. Y will be equal to 2. So y intercept is 0 and 2, which is true. So this is y intercept. Y intercept is when x is 0. Now let's look for x intercept. That is when y is equal to 0. So when y is equal to 0, I'm going to have 0 minus 2x is equal to 2, minus 2x is equal to 2, and x is equal to minus 1. So I'm going to have minus 1 and 0, which is also true. So this one will be true. So they are very simple. You just need to sit down and then practice them. Understand how to solve, the questions. Maths is very easy, so try and understand them. And I know that if you have gone through all the videos that I have been doing, this exam should be very easy for you. So let's look at this one. Distance between this is this. So first we need the distance from these 2 points. So let me say that the first point is A and then the second point is B. So the distance, which we can write it absolute, or you can also use A of D like this. This is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And the question is saying that the distance is giving us 5. So I'm going to have this one to be 5, which is equal to square root of. So let me pick this one as my x2 and this one as my x1. Sorry, this one to be my x2 y2 and this one x1 y1. So I'm going to have minus 1 minus 2 all squared plus x minus minus. So it's going to be plus 2 squared. So 5 is equal to, this is going to be minus 3 squared plus x plus 2 squared. And we are going to have, so I can square both sides. I can square both sides like this. So I'm going to have 9 plus, so when I expand this one, I'm going to have, or I can just maintain it like that, x plus 2 squared. And then this will cancel this. So I'm going to have 25 is equal to 9 plus x plus 2 all squared. Now I'll show you the reason why I'm not expanding this, so that I can just do it straight, And this is going to give us 25 minus 9 is equal to x plus 2 all squared. And this is 16 is equal to x plus 2 all squared. And as it says this one is squared, it means that we need to get two values here. So I'm going to square both sides again. Square root of this, square root of x plus 2 all squared. So this will cancel this. Now square root of 16 is going to give us plus or minus 4, which is equal to x plus 2, because we need to get two values. So here I'm going to have x plus 2 is equal to 4, which means that x is 4 minus 2 and x will be equal to 2. And then I'm going to have another one, x plus 2 is equal to minus 4, and then x is equal to minus 4 minus 2, and x will be equal to minus 6. So x should be 2, x should be minus 6. So we have only one of them here, because the question is saying that we should one of them, the values of x. So we have 2 and minus 6, and 2 is there, so we choose 2 as the answer. Here, when you get here to, what you can do is you can expand and get x squared plus 2x plus 4, and then just do the factorization. You are going to get the same thing. Let's look at question 5. The midpoint of the line segment joining the point this and this. So we want to find the midpoint. So you see that everything that we are doing here, most of the time with the coordinate geometry, we need formulas a lot. So x1 plus x2, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So this is very simple. So let's go. I'm going to have minus 2 minus 6 divided by 2, and then 8 minus 4 divided by 2. So this is my x1 plus x2, and then y1 plus y2. Very simple from here. So I'm going to have minus 8 divided by 2, and then 6 divided by 2. No, supposed to be 4 rather. And this is going to give us minus 4 and 2. So minus 4 and 2 will be the results. So you see, when you solve, it's become so easy for you to just, solve them, And one thing that I will tell you is that when you go there, maybe you see a question that is the same as this, try and confirm it, verify, because that's the reason why you know how to solve. It helps you to, get the things right. Now, the distance between the point, this and this, so this is basically like the one that we did. So maybe I can leave this one for you to try, right? So they are saying that the distance between this and this is 13. So you are going to have something like distance between pick A to be this and B to be 8 and 7. and distance between A and B will be equal to the same thing, x1, x2 squared. Here, because of squared, it does not matter where your x2 and y2 comes. So here it's going to be 13 is equal to square root of 3 minus 8 squared plus y minus, no, not y. Yeah, it's supposed to be y minus 7 squared. So the same idea, 13 is equal to square root of, this is going to be minus 5 squared, plus y minus 7 squared. So here I'm not going to expand it. So this is one strategy that you can use every day. So I'm going to square both sides, and I'm going to have 13 squared is equal to, now the one under the square root, when I have minus 5 squared, I'm going to have 25 plus y minus 7 all squared. So because I'm squaring both sides, this will cancel that. So 13 squared, I think, is 69. Yeah, 69. I think, yeah, that's right. Then minus 25 plus y minus 7 squared. So same idea, move the 25 to 169 minus 25 is equal to y minus 7 all squared. 25 minus 169 is going to be 144, which is equal to y minus 7 all squared. Take the square root on both sides, and square root of 144 I think is going to give us 12. So square root of this 2 as well. This one will cancel this, so I'm going to have 12 is equal to this. But here is going to be plus or minus, don't forget. So I'm going to have y minus 7 is equal to 12. Y is equal to 12 plus 7, which is going to give us, I think, 19. Is that right? Yes. And then y minus 7 is equal to minus 12. And y is equal to minus 12 plus 7. And this is going to give us something like 5. Is that right? No, minus 5 rather. So the answer here should be minus 5 and 19. Minus 5 and 19. So that's what you are going to get from this. So they are just pretty straightforward. All you just need to do is be solving more examples, and then you'll be good to go. The line segment containing this is bisected by the point this. Find the value of x and y. So this is the line segment. So this is the line segment, and we have, let's say, x6, and we have 9y, and it is bisected. So you see, when you say something is bisected, it means that you're going to divide it into 2 equal parts. So we are going to have this at the point 7 and 3. So it means that this is the midpoint of this and that. So we are going to use a midpoint approach to solve for x and y. So we know that the midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now, since this one is bisecting this and this becomes the midpoint. This one becomes the midpoint. So I'm going to have 7, 3 here. And then now, I use this point and this point here. So I'm going to have x plus 9 divided by 2, and then 6 plus y divided by 2. So don't forget, since this one is the midpoint, it means that the coordinate here should be the same as this, and then the coordinate here should be the same as this. So I'm going to have 7 is equal to x plus 9 divided by 2. So I can find for x. So 14 is equal to x plus 9. And then x is equal to 14 minus 9. And this is going to give us 5. So x is 5. Now another one is 3 is equal to 6 plus y divided by 2. So I'm going to have 6 is equal to 6 plus y. Is that right? Okay, that's right. So it means I'm going to have y to be equal to 6 minus 6, and y should be equal to 0 if I did it right. Good. So we are going to have the point to be x is going to be 5 and y is going to be 0, something like that. So it's going to give us d, because x is 5 and then y is 0. So that's what we are going to get for this. So the questions are pretty much straightforward. Now, if the point, this is the midpoint of this and that, then find the value of it. So I'll leave you this to do. So this one is basically what we just did here, like the bisector. So this is the midpoint and this is the point. So you are going to set up a formula like this, and the midpoint here will be this one here. Then you use this point and this point on the here, then you find for x and y and leave your answer in the comment section. Okay, let's look at question 9. Find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of this. So perpendicular bisector, so seeing the perpendicular bisector of AB. So remember, equation, that equation is perpendicular bisecting this. So it means that this is the equation that we are talking about, and this equation here is perpendicular bisecting this. So it means that it bisects it at 90 because of the perpendicular bisector, right? Where AB are this and this. So two things that you need to remember here. Perpendicular means that you are going to have this one here bisected, A and B. So it means that it's going to divide this one into two equal parts. So it means that we are going to need a point here called C, right? And this C here, let me call it XY. This is going to be the midpoint of A and B. So A is -4 and 8, and B is 0 and -2. So let's first find a point. So we need a point first. So let's find a midpoint. So midpoint, we just learned midpoint right now. So midpoint, so we know the formula already. X1 plus X2 divided by 2, Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2. Now, we are saying that the midpoint is C, so we are going to have C to be equal to -4 plus 0 divided by 2, and then 8 minus 2 divided by 2. So we are going to have -4 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2. So I'm going to have -2 and 3 as the midpoint. So now we are having something here like -2 and 3 as a midpoint, if I'm right. Good. Now that we have gotten the midpoint, now we need the equation, which is equation of the line, which is bisecting this at this perpendicular. So we see that for us to get equation of the line, we need one point and we need a slope. But God being so good, we were able to find one point on the line, right? So we've gotten one point here, but we need the slope. So what we just need to do here is we need to now think of, since this is perpendicular, then we can find the slope for this and use the idea of perpendicular bisector to get the slope for this one too. So let's do that. Let's find the slope for this. Let's find the slope for this. So slope for line AB. So let me say M of AB. So change in Y divided by change in X. So given the point, we are going to have 8 minus 3 divided by -4 minus 2. So it's going to be +2. This is going to be 5 divided by -2. Is that right? Okay. So 8. Oh, no. The point is supposed to be this one. So it's supposed to be 8 minus 2. So it's going to be +2 rather. And then we are going to have -4 minus 0. Good. So this one's supposed to be -0. So we are going to have 10 divided by -4, and this is 5 divided by -2. Is that right? So let me see. 8 plus 2, 10. Okay, so that's right. So now that we've gotten the slope, then the equation will be, the equation of the perpendicular bisector will be y minus y1, which is equal to 1 minus 1 divided by AB x minus x1. So since it is perpendicular, we need to find the negative reciprocal, right? So -1 divided by the slope of AB. Now we are able to find the midpoint, which is -2 and 3, which are now our point. C is -2 and 3. So x1, y1. So this is going to be y minus 3 is equal to, now, negative reciprocal of this. So I'm going to have -1 divided by 5, 5 divided by -2, and then x minus, so it will be +2. So what are we going to get here? Y minus 3. This minus minus will be positive. 1 divided by 5 over 2 is going to give us 2 over 5, x plus 2. Multiply through by 5, 15, 2x plus 2x plus 2. So most especially when you are dealing with objectives 2, always check the solution before you solve, right? Check the solution. So this is 5y minus 15, which is equal to 2x plus 4. So this is 2x minus 5y plus 4 plus 15 is equal to 0. So I'm just moving all of this one to the side. So 2x minus 5y plus 19 is equal to 0. 2x minus 5y, 2x minus 5y plus 19. So this is right here. Is that right? 2x, okay, plus 19. Good. So that's what we are going to get for the equation, which is perpendicular bisector of AB. And let's look at question 10. Now, which of this line is perpendicular to that? So when we are saying that perpendicular, anytime you are doing something like this, now what we just need to do here is we need to find the slope, right? So the slope, we need to write this one as y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope and c here is the intercept. Or let me see the y-intercept. So let's now start. 3x plus 5y minus 8 is equal to 0. Now 5y is equal to minus 3x plus 8, and y will be equal to minus 3 over 5 x plus 8. So with this idea, our m is equal to, which is the slope, is equal to minus 3 divided by 5. Now for us to check which one is perpendicular, then we need to check all the gradients for all these questions and see the one that is negative reciprocal. So one thing that you need to know here is, you see, always you try to look at shortcuts, right? So when I find the negative reciprocal of this, what am I going to get? It means that when I find negative reciprocal of this, I'm going to have the slope to be 5 over 3. So remember, this one was divided by 5 because the 5 was with the y. So another way of thinking of, okay, to get the function which is having this one, then that one, it should be multiplied, y should be multiplied by what? 3. So let's look at it. You see that this is multiplied by 5, so this is indeed out. This one too, y is multiplied by 5, this one too is out. So the answer is between this guy and this guy, because this is 3, this is 3. So let's pick one of them and solve. So let's pick from here. Now here, if we are making y the subject, we're going to have minus, or we are going to have 3y to be equal to 5x minus 11. So this one, I just moved the minus y to this side, so to be left with this and this. And then y will be equal to 5 divided by 3x minus 11 over 3. This one is supposed to be divided by 5, sorry. This one's supposed to be divided by 5, good. So you see that now the slope is the same as this, the negative reciprocal. This is the original slope from this question, but the negative reciprocal of this is equal to this. So the answer here is going to be B. So instead of testing all of them, so if this one didn't work, then automatically this guy is going to work out. So that is the idea with question 10. And let's look at question 11, 12, and 13. So we have a parallelogram, right? P, Q, R, and X. So let's try and sketch it. Let's try and sketch it. So let me put my P, let me put my Q, and let me put my R here, and let me put my X here. So one property that we are going to use here is, now we are trying to find the coordinate S, right? Given the 3 coordinates. But we know that we can use the idea of midpoint, right? Because this line here and this line here, all of them have midpoint, the same midpoint. So what we can do is, okay, then it means that the midpoint of this is the same as the midpoint of this. So that's how we can find this. So let's find the midpoint for PR and midpoint of SQ, And then when we are done, we equate them and then we find for x and y from here. So let's do that first. Let's go with PQ first. So midpoint of let's say PR. So we know x1 plus x2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2 divided by 2. So let's go. 5 plus 2 divided by 2, and then 5 plus 1 divided by 2. So this is going to give us 7 divided by 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this will be the midpoint for PR. Let's do with QX. Midpoint of QX. So we have the formula already. So let's just write them in. So x plus 6 divided by 2, and then y plus 3 divided by 2. Now, since they are all having the same midpoint, then we can equate this to this. So that's basically what we are going to do here. So let's do that. Let's do that. We are going to have 7 over 2, 3, which is equal to x plus 6 divided by 2, y plus 3 divided by 2. Good. So as you saw, this coordinate here is the same as this, and this is the same as that. So let me pick the first coordinate. 7 over 2 is equal to x plus 6 over 2. So I'll multiply through by 2, and I'm going to have 7 is equal to x plus 6, and then x will be equal to 7 minus 6, and x is 1. Let's check this one. 3 is equal to y plus 3 divided by 2. 6 is equal to y plus 3, and y will be equal to 6 minus 3, and y will be equal to 3, right? So now the coordinate is 1 and 3 for S1 and 3. Good. So we have it here, which is right. So now that we've gotten the coordinate, we can name this one as 1, 3. And the next question is asking us to find the length, the length of the diagonal QX. So we want to find this length, right? So remember, we are talking about distance when we're talking about length. So let's find the length. So the length is the same as distance. So distance of SQ. Is that right? Yeah, or QX. QS. So square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And then let's just plug them in. So 6 minus 1 squared plus 3 minus 3 squared. So this is square root of 5 squared plus 0 squared. And this is square root of 25, and this is going to give us 5. So we are going to get this one to be 5. Now the next question is determine the midpoint of QX. Now QX, remember the midpoint are the same. So the midpoint of QR, right? Oh, the midpoint of QS. Yeah, the midpoint of QX, which is here. What's midpoint of QX? Oh, did I write it down wrong? So PRQX. Oh, okay, this one's supposed to be QX. Sorry, this one's supposed to be QX. So the midpoint of QX is the same as this. So it means that it is 7 over 2 and 3. So that one you just don't need to solve. You just need to circle it from there. So let's assume that the question was asking us to, the question did not ask us this and this, and we are just finding for this, the midpoint of QX. Then if you know the property of a parallelogram, you will know that the midpoint of this is the same as the midpoint of this. So you don't need to go to find this before you come and find the midpoint. You can just find the midpoint of this one. The answer is the same as QX. Right. Now let's look at question 14. Which of the following, or which point, this, and this is closer to the point G? So I'll leave this one for you to try. So what you just need to do is, since we are talking about the closest point, then we are trying to say that, okay, we have point PG, we have point Q and G, and we have another point, which is, let's say, R and G. But we are looking at, when you say closest, it means that which which distance is too short. Because if this one is too short, then R will be close to G. If this one is too short, then this one will be close to this one. So I'll leave this one for you to do. So what you just need to do is find the distance between P and G, distance between Q and G, and distance between R and G. The one which is the smallest will be the closest point. Okay. Now let's look at question 15. Question 15, determine the midpoint of the line segment. I think we've done a lot of midpoint here, but I think I've given you one question on midpoint, so let me just write the answer very quick. So some of the questions, when you solve them, you can just, without writing everything, you can just do something like, okay, 1 plus 5 divided by 2, and then 2 plus 9 divided by 2. So this is going to be 6 divided by 2 and 11 divided by 2, which is 3 and 11 divided by 2. So this one is this. So that is how you can solve some of the objectives questions. You know them, you know the formula off head, and you just write it this way. So you know the midpoint formula, you know how to combine them. X1, X2, Y1, Y2, all divided by 2, and then boom, you are there. So some of the questions, you just watch it, and then you just give the answers to their way, and then you are okay to go. Now let's look at what we are going to get here. Find the angle between, oh, this one's supposed to find the angle between the lines. Okay, so the first thing that, so this one, okay, this one is there, is supposed to be theta. Yeah, find the angle theta. So remember that the formula for this one is m2 minus m1 divided by 1 plus m1 m2. So let's find the slope for the first one. Y is equal to 2x plus 1. So here m is equal to 2, so let me call it m1. Y is equal to 3x plus 2, so m2 will be equal to 3. So we just do substitution. So all we need here is just the formula here, and then boom, we are done. 1 plus 3 times 2, this is 1 divided by 1 plus 6, and this is 1 divided by 7. So we are finding the theta. So theta is equal to tan inverse of 1 over 7, and I think this is supposed to be, you can check it on the calculator to confirm it, what I wrote is right, 8.1325. So questions, straightforward, you don't need to be doing a whole lot of things, right? Now another one, okay, I think we've not solved question on, talking about internally, externally. So this is another one to also try. So let's see this one. We want to find the division for A and B internally, right? So one thing that I want to show you here is, always when you are doing internally, you pick them in the way it is given. So A is given before B, or alphabetically AB. So the point that comes first is the one you write first, and then followed by the one that comes second. And when you finish, you match the ratio. So 1, 2, right? So remember, the ratio that we are going to use here is, we are going to interchange the ratio. So you see, when you are reading ABCD, we have MN as our ratio. So we are not going to use MN, we are going to use NM. So NM. So that's basically what we need to do here. If you swap it, you are going to get different answer for this one. So let's see now, internally, what's the formula for internally? Internal division is equal to, so this is going to be something like this. This is going, this will be going with this, this one, and this one will be going with this one. So I'm going to have m x1 plus n x2 divided by m plus n, and then m y1 plus n y2 divided by m plus 2. So you see that the m is going with this, and then the n is going with that. Do you get it? So you see that this one is my x1. The way I've chosen it, this is my x1 y1, and this is my x2 y2. So you see that all the x1 and y1 is with m, and then x2 and y2 is also with n. So know how to just write this one, and then you are done. So you just now put it into substitution, and let's go. So m is 2, x1 is 1, plus n is 1, x2 is 3 divided by 1 plus 2, and then m1 is still 2, and the y1 is 2 plus n is still 1, and y2 is 1. So divided by, okay, this one's supposed to be n. So I'm going to have 1 plus 2, and this is what I'm going to get. So from here, I'm going to have 2 plus 3 divided by 3, and then 2 plus, no, 4 plus 1 divided by 3. So this is going to give us 5 over 3 and 5 over 3. So we scored more than what was expected, 5 over 3. Good. So that will be for 17. Now let's look at question 18. Okay, so 18, we are dealing with externally. So externally is just, this minus here is just telling us that it is externally. So pay attention to it, because we know that the external division is equal to mx1 minus nx2 divided by m minus n, and then my2 minus n y1 divided by m minus n. Now pay attention here, because if you don't do that, you are going to make a mistake here. Now I pick my A, I pick my B. Remember, n is to m. So it means that this is 1, this is 2. Now I'm not picking minus 1. This minus 1 is just telling me that it is what? It is externally, if it's not given. So I'm not going to use the minus 1. If you use the minus 1, you are going to get different answer, which is going to make it like, let me say, the internal one. Because as soon as this one becomes 1, it will make this one positive, make this one positive, make this one positive, and it will send it to what? Internal division. So that's basically what you need to pay attention here too. So this is going to be, so A is what? 1, 2, B is 3, 1. So let's go. M is 2, so 2 times 1 plus, no, minus 1 times x2 is 3, good, divided by 2 minus 1, and then m is 2, y2 is 1, minus 1, and then y1 is 3, I think so, yeah, and this one will be 2 minus 1. So I'm going to have this one to be 2 minus 3 divided by 1, then 2 minus 3 divided by 1. Am I doing this one right? I think so. Minus 1 and minus 1. We have minus 1 and minus 1. No, maybe. Because I think I mistake somewhere. Let me see. Oh, okay. So this is the confusion now. Found it. This one's supposed to be 1 and this one's supposed to be 2. Whew. So this one is going to be 2 and this one is going to be 1. Good. So this one's supposed to be 4 and this one's supposed to be 1. So this is going to be 3. So determine the type of triangle here. So for us to do that, if we have a triangle like this, U, vein, W, for us to determine, then what we just need to do is we need to find the distance, right, on each of them. So let's do that. Let's find distance U vein, distance, okay, let's go for distance U vein first. So first write the formula x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. Then this is going to be square root of, let me use this one as my x2, y2. So I'm going to have 3 plus 2 squared plus 2 minus 2 squared. Is that right? Of course, yes, it's right. So this is going to give us something like 5 squared plus 0 squared, and this is 25, and this is 5. Okay. Now let's look for UW. So I'm picking this one as my x2, y2. So I'm going to have minus 4 plus 2. Is that right? Yes, because I'm going to have minus 4 plus 2. So minus 4 plus 2 squared plus 5 minus 2. Good. 5 minus 2 squared. So this is going to give us minus 2 squared plus 3 squared, which is equal to 4 plus 9, which is equal to square root of 13. And square root of 13, I think, is 3.61. And let's do the last one, vin W. So vin W, okay, I can have the point here. Vin W is, so let me still pick this one as x2, y2. So I'm going to have minus 4 minus 3 squared, minus 4 minus 3 squared, plus 5 minus 2 squared. Okay, 5 minus 2 squared. So this is going to give us minus 7 squared plus 3 squared, and this is equal to 49 plus 9. Is that right? Good. And this is going to be square root of 58, and this is going to give us 7.62. So you can see that all the sizes are not the same, because this is 7, this is 3, this is 5. So this is not the same as this, it's not the same as this. So we can call it this one scalene, right? So scalene triangles they have different sizes. Good. So that is basically what we are going to get from question 19. Let's move very quick. Now we want to find this and this are the vectors of the triangle ABC. If the area of the triangle is 4, square we need, find the value of k. Okay, so this one is asking us to find the area of the triangle, right? So we know that area of the triangle is basically half base times what? Height, right? So this is how the formula is going to be, since we have the point here. So it's basically you are trying to find the, let me call it, you are trying to find the length, right? Then when you finish, you divide by 2. But this is how you can do it. 1 over 2 absolute of, so x1. Then since I'm picking x1, I'm going to have y3 minus y2 plus x2. Then I'm going to also have something like y3 minus y1 plus x3. Then I'll have y2 minus y1. Good. So this is what I'm going to get for the area, right? So this will be the area. So that is basically what I'm doing here. So I'm picking like A, B, and C. Let me shift this one small and C. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So when I pick x1 from here, I'm not going to use y1. So when I pick x1, I'm going to have y3 minus y2. When I pick x2, I'm going to have y3 minus y1. And then when I pick x3, I'm going to have y2 minus y1. So this is what I'm going to get here. So now let's plug them in. I'm going to have 1 over 2 magnitude of, so remember x1, y1 in that order. So I'm going to have 3k y3 minus y2, so 4 minus 3 plus, so remember this will be y3, y2, y1. This is x1, x2, x3. So that's what I'm doing there. X2 is minus 2, so this one will be minus 2, 4 minus y1 is 5 plus x3 is minus k. So I'm going to have minus k. Y2 is 3 and y1 is 5. So that's what I'm going to get. But the question is saying that the area is 4, so I can put 4 here. So I'm going to have 4. When I multiply 2 by 2, I can make this one 8. Can make this one 8, which is equal to, now absolute of 3k, 1 minus 2 times minus 1 minus k times minus 2 absolute. So 8 is equal to absolute of 3k plus 2 plus k. So this is 8 is equal to 3k, no, 4k plus 2. Then absolute can be written as plus or minus. So this is plus or minus 4k plus 2. So I'll pick the positive side, which will be plus 4k plus 2. So plus 4k plus 2 is the same as 8 is equal to 4k plus 2. 4k is equal to 8 minus 2. 4k is equal to 6 and implies that k is equal to 3 divided by 2. So that's 1. Then I'll pick the negative side. 8 is equal to minus 4k plus 2. So 8 is equal to minus 4k minus 2. So 4k is equal to minus 2 minus 8. So 4k will be equal to minus 10. And then k will be equal to minus 5 divided by 2. So minus 5 divided by 2 and 3 divided by 2. Did I had it wrong? Yes, of course, because I'm not getting any of them there. So let me check again. Oh, okay, seen it. So this one's supposed to be 2k. So this is going to be 5k. Good. This one is going to be 5. This is going to be 5. This is 5. This is going to be 5. This is going to be 5. So this is going to be 6 divided by 5. And then the same thing happens to this guy here. This is supposed to be 5. 5. Another 5 here. 5 here. And this is going to be minus 2. So 6 on 5 and minus 2. 6 on 5 and minus 2. Okay, so we are going to get something here. These questions are crazy. So sometimes that's how it happens. Make sure you check them very well. Okay, so let's look at this one too. This is the midpoint of that. I think we've done some question like this. So I can leave this one too for you to do it. Another midpoint question for you to find x and y. Now let's look at, okay, I think I've given you one already. So let me just do it very quick. So I'm not going to write the formula down. So 7 is equal to x plus 6 divided by 2, and then y plus 11 divided by 2. So this is the midpoint. So this is equal to this. So 4 is equal to x plus 6 divided by 2. 8 is equal to x plus 6. And then x is equal to 8 minus 6, which is equal to 2. 7 is equal to y plus 11 divided by 2. 14 is equal to y plus 11. And y is equal to 14 minus 11, which is 3. So 2, 3, which is A. Now let's look at 22. Let's look at 22. So we have this point which divides the line segment this internally such that this is the ratio. If the coordinate of A is this, find the, oh, this question is interesting. So they've given us the results for the internal division, right? Because we are saying that this divides this one internally. So it means that the internal division, which is equal to m x1 plus n y1, sorry, x2 divided by m plus n, and then m y1 plus n y2 divided by m plus 2. So this is the internal division, right? So this is our point A, and we don't know B. So let's assume that A is equal to 5 minus this, and B is equal to, let's say, small a, small b. Now we have the ratio 3, 1, and this is n, and this is m. So now the point, the internal division is given, which is minus 1 and 8. So you're going to have minus 1 and 8, which is equal to, then we just plug them, we fix this point inside. So m times x1 is going to be 1 times 5 plus n times x2, which is going to be a. So we are going to have 1 times a, is that right? So n1 times x2, okay, good, divided by 3 plus, oh, what is n? N is supposed to be 3, okay. So we are going to have 1 plus 3, good. Then now we are going to have m, which is 1 times y1, which is minus 1, plus n times y2, which is b, divided by 1 plus 3. Okay, good. So let's try and simplify this. Minus 1, 8 is equal to 5 plus 3a divided by 4, and then minus 1 plus 3b divided by 4. So now this one is like, now we've gotten to where the midpoint is. So pick this equal to this one too is equal to this. So minus 1 is equal to 5 plus 3a divided by 4. Minus 4 is equal to 5 plus 3a. And then 3a is equal to minus 4 minus 5. 3a is equal to minus 9. And a will be equal to minus 3. 8 is equal to minus 1 plus 3b divided by 4. So we are picking this with this. So 4 times 8 should be 32, which is equal to minus 1 plus 3b. And then 3b is equal to 32 plus 1. 3b is equal to 33. And then b will be equal to 11. So minus a is 3 and b is 11. Okay. So minus 3 and 11. So that's what we are going to get for 22. Let's just finish it up. The gradient of the line passing through this is 3. So they've given us the gradient. Gradient of PQ is equal to 3. So let's now find the gradient. Gradient of PQ is equal to change in y divided by change in x. So the gradient is 3. So we are going to now have change in y. So it's going to be 8 minus 7 divided by x minus 6. Good. So 3 is equal to 1 divided by x plus x minus 6. Then this will be 3x minus 6 is equal to 1. 3x minus 18 is equal to 1. 3x is equal to 1 plus 18. 3x is equal to 19, and x should be 19 divided by 3. So x is equal to 19 over 3. Okay, so no option. We don't have option here. So let's look at 24. Now we have a point A, which is 2 minus 3. And then we have B, which is 3 minus 1. And then we have C, which is 4, and K. And we are saying that all of them are on the straight line. So it means that they are going to have the same slope. So the slope of A, B is the same as the slope of AC is the same as slope of BC. So we can pick two of them to find the coordinate. So slope of AB will be equal to, so I'm going to have minus 1. Okay, slope is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to have this, and this is going to give me minus 1 plus 3 divided by 3 minus 2. So I'm going to have 2 divided by 1, which is 2, right? Then slope of AC. So if I'm using AC, because I need to pick the one that I can get a constant in it. So I'm going to have k minus, so k plus 3 divided by 4 minus 2. So this is going to be k plus 3 divided by 2. So I'm using k minus 3, which is going to be k plus 3, and then 4 minus 2. So now I can equate them. So I'm going to have 4 k plus 3 over 2 is equal to 2 here. And then k plus 3 is equal to 4. And k will be equal to 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. So k should be 1, so that they can have the same slope. Now let's look at question 25. Find the distance of P, which is 3 and 2, from the line. So I love this one. From, so this is a line. From a line. So we want to find the distance. So from the line, 3, 2, this is P. And then the line is 12x plus 5y minus 11 is equal to 0. So this is perpendicular distance, right? This here becomes a perpendicular distance. So perpendicular distance is equal to absolute of a x plus by plus c divided by square root of I think a squared plus b squared. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's the formula. So here is A, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So A is equal to 12, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to minus 11. Now X in this is the coordinate up here. So X is 3, Y is 2. So we just put in the substitution and done. So it's going to be 12 times X, which is 3, plus B, which is 5 times 2 minus 11, absolute, divided by A is 12, so 12 squared plus B is 5 squared. So let's see what we are going to get from here. So this is going to give us, let me see the answer given. Okay, so this is going to give us 12 times 3 is going to give us, I think, 36 plus 10 minus 11 divided by 144 plus 25, and the top is going to give us, is it 37? No, it's going to give us 35 positive. So I can ignore, since it's positive, I can ignore this one. Then when I add 25 to 144, I think it's going to be 169, and this will be 35 divided by 13, 35 over 13. Okay, so this one, there was minus there because we cannot pick. So this, there is no option from there. Let's look at 26, and we'll look at 27, and then we are done. Find the equation of the perpendicular line to this. Okay, I love this question. So we have y is equal to minus 2, and we have the point 2 and 5. So we know that the equation is y minus y1 minus y1 mx minus x1. So now don't forget, this m here is a slope, and the slope is the same as dy over the x. So let's do that. Dy over the x, when I differentiate this, I'm going to get 0, right? Good. And now we have the point x and y, but don't forget, here we are saying that it is what? Perpendicular to this. So since it is perpendicular, then it means that we are going to reciprocate it. So it means that now the equation of the line, the original equation of the line, is going to be y1, which is equal to minus 1 over m x minus 1. Good. So here x1 is 2, y1 is 5. So we are going to have y minus 5, which is equal to minus 1 divided by, now the slope, which is dy over the x, is equal to 0. So x minus 2. Now this one, this will multiply this, and minus 1 will multiply that. I'm going to have 0, 5 minus, 1 minus 5 is equal to minus 1 times x minus 2. Everything here goes to 0, and I'm going to have minus x minus 2. And then x to the left, I'm going to have to be this. So x should be minus 2, will be the slope. Will be the slope. Is that right? Yeah. So now let's look at the last one. Now find the equation of the line which passes through this point and is parallel to the x-axis. So x-axis means that y is equal to 0. So it means that dy over the x here will be equal to 0. But when we say something is parallel, it means that they have the same slope. So equation of the line, they all have the same slope. So y minus y1, which is equal to m x minus x1. So this is y minus 1, which is equal to 0, x minus 4. So this is x1, this is y1. Good. And this will be y plus 1, which is equal to 0. And y should be equal to minus 1, which is also here. So that's how we can do. Okay, so let's look at 28. If a line intercepts y-axis at the point -4, then it means that we are going to have 0 and -4. That is the intersection. And then x-axis, so 2 and 0. Then which of the following is the equation? Okay, so we can pick any of them, but first let's find the slope. Slope is equal to change in y, so we're going to have -4 minus 0 divided by 0 minus 2. So -4 divided by -2 is equal to 2. Then y minus y1 is equal to the slope, which is 2x minus x1. So let's pick any of the point. We can pick 2 and 0. So y minus 0 is equal to 2 times x minus 2. Y is equal to 2x minus 4. 2x minus 4. Okay, right here, which is B. Good. Let's look at the last question. I think so. Good. This is the last question. Which of the following is true? Parallel lines have equal angles of inclination. This is true. Lines with equal slope have equal angles of inclination. This one too is true. If two non-vertical lines, L1 and L2, are perpendicular, their slope M1 and M2 satisfy M1 times M2, which is equal to this. Okay, this one too is true. So this one is going to be C. All right, so I think this is the last video. The one that I didn't solve, make sure you solve them. You leave your answer in the comment section. In the next video, we are going to talk about circles and limit. So we have questions on circle and limit too as well in preparation towards our final exams. So see you in the next video.